Meet Arjun. He's an average college student with typical academic marks and extraordinary ambitions, but he is currently struggling with one very specific internal roadblock, an intense, paralyzing fear of failure. That fear is put to the test on a random Tuesday. During a routine lecture, his professor calls his name and delivers a non-negotiable mandate. Arjun, next week you will present the seminar. His physical response is immediate. His heart rate spikes and his palms start sweating. Caught off guard with the entire room watching him, he finds it impossible to say no. He quietly agrees. He spends the next few days trying to prepare. He reads the assigned books, watches online tutorials, and painstakingly builds a deck of presentation slides. By the end of the week, he has constructed a fragile sense of readiness. Then, the moment arrives. He steps to the front of the room. Dozens of eyes lock onto him. Almost instantly, his mind goes entirely blank. The words disappear, and his voice begins to tremble. He drops crucial pieces of his presentation. The silence stretches out. Then comes the devastating part, the undeniable sound of his classmates whispering, followed by soft, muffled laughter. He returns to his seat, crushed. For Arjun, this is an absolute disaster. It cements a dark, internal narrative that will echo in his head for months. I am not good enough. The days slowly turn into weeks, and then months. Arjun begins a period of active retreat. He develops specific tactics to hide in academia. Whenever there's a chance to speak on stage, he avoids it. Whenever a professor scans the room asking for volunteers, he deliberately breaks eye contact and stares at his desk. The psychological trigger is hardwired. Even the passing thought of speaking in public instantly recalls the sound of his peers laughing. With every passing day, the fear takes a deeper root. A single 10-minute public failure has trapped him. He is now caught in a self-reinforcing cycle of avoidance that actively threatens to cap his potential and derail his future. The turning point happens on a quiet evening walk home. Arjun is sitting near a park when an observant older man notices his defeated posture and strikes up a conversation. The man simply asks what happened. Arjun spills everything. He details the seminar, the crushing embarrassment, the laughter of the room, and the lingering dread that followed him ever since. The older man listens patiently. Then he offers a single analogy. He asks Arjun to consider how a baby learns to walk. A baby will stand up, take a step, and fall down hundreds of times. But they never decide that walking simply isn't for them. If early humans had quit after their very first fall, the man points out, the world would be a very different place. The logic of the analogy provides a point of friction for Arjun's fear. For the first time, he makes a distinction between the act of speaking and the possibility of repeating his past failure. The fear is still there, but he sees a potential path through it. That night, Arjun makes a quiet, difficult promise to himself. He accepts that he will likely fail again, but he decides to stop running away from the challenge. He starts with his environment. He strips away the pressure of an audience, choosing to practice alone in his bedroom, speaking directly into a mirror. This chart visualizes his next step, progressive overload. He deliberately scales his exposure to discomfort, practicing for 5 uninterrupted minutes, then 10, then 15. To ensure he is improving, he builds a feedback loop, recording sessions and correcting his pacing on the next attempt. It is a slow, repetitive grind. Progress isn't a clean upward line. He has to push through those frustrating sessions where he still stumbles, slowly building on the small wins. This systematic exposure and relentless self-correction creates the very confidence that others see as natural talent. Months later, the ultimate test arrives. A new seminar is announced in class. Instantly, Arjun's old panic flares up. The memories of the laughter flood back into his mind. But this time, he anchors himself to the image of the baby learning to walk, refusing to let the memory dictate his response. To the surprise of his classmates and his professor, Arjun slowly and deliberately raises his hand to volunteer. The day of the presentation, the physical nervousness is still present. His voice shakes slightly when he begins, but the depth of his meticulous preparation quickly takes over. As the minutes pass, the prepared framework kicks in. The fear dissolves. He stops fighting the audience and shifts his entire focus to the material he has practiced hundreds of times. When he finishes, there is no whispering. There is only applause. He didn't deliver a flawless speech, but he successfully proved that systematic practice could conquer his paralysis. Flash forward several years. Arjun is now a successful professional, widely admired for his unshakable communication skills. The polished, confident exterior everyone sees is built upon a foundation of early, painful failures. Success is a sequence of corrected failures. Every expert is simply a beginner who refined their response to a mistake. A career is defined by the decision to return to the stage after being laughed off it. Arjun's future was determined by what he did after he fell down.